Sebastian, allow me to... Yeah, I got it. I'm counting on you, Justine.
Whoa, it's a judge. Okay. Let's get your testimony. I thought we were going to be playing chess against Dogen, but I guess we're just straight to the press times.
I presume you know of the incident Mr. Knightley caused the day before yesterday. He attacked a guard and stole his keys. Afterwards, Simon Key stopped by his cell with an animal cage from the show. During this time, Mr. Knightley was able to use the stolen key to exit his cell.
Objection. That's not how he...
He then hid in the cage while it was moved to the prison workroom.
So Mr. Keys went to his cell after all.
After hearing you talk about the security camera yesterday, we investigated it ourselves. Why don't you have a look? I have here a printout of the security camera footage.
This is the moment when Mr. Keys visited Knightley.
Exactly. As you can see, the cage creates a huge blind spot in the cell. By using this blind spot, Mr. Knightley could have entered the cage. That is our reasoning.
A blind spot. That means... the camera doesn't actually show him entering the cage. At this time, there's still the possibility that Knightley never left his cell. But why would he be hiding inside an animal cage?
Mr. Knightley was planning to escape from prison. That is the only possibility.
A prison escape? That's so cool! First Mr. Elbert, and now Mr. Knightley. I want them to show me up. I'm gonna break out of jail. I'm gonna get arrested. I'm gonna go to jail. Then I'm gonna break out because I'm the good Tipianagarasu. Okay, this isn't the time to get excited. Jail escape is no laughing matter.
Simon Keys was aiding Mr. Knightley in his escape. In other words, he was an accomplice.
Not bad, Simon. Don't praise him.
That cage was transported temporarily to the workroom. Originally, Mr. Knightley was to remain hidden until the end of the animal show. He would then be carried out along with the cage. I presume that was the plan. However, midway through the plan, he was betrayed by Simon Keys and murdered.
Judge Courtney's reasoning does appear to make sense. However, there must be a hole somewhere. I must not overlook anything. Okay. So clearly the hole matters, but I feel like it may be too early to go that route. So we need to find perhaps another simpler hole in her testimony at this point. So, time for some pressing.
I presume you know the incident Mr. Knightley caused the day before yesterday?
Hold it! Judge Courtney, about this incident.
You do not know of it? That would be unbecoming of you, Ace Attorney Miles Edgeworth.
Naturally, I know of it. However, you said...
In that case, this is a waste of time. I shall continue, Mr. Knightley. He attacked a guard and stole his keys.
His Simon keys?
Hold it!
You have proof Knightley stole the keys.
It is the only explanation as to why Mr. Knightley would have attacked the guard. We will know for certain the moment the guard regains consciousness.
Is that really true? Should I ask Judge Courtney for more information? Yes. There doesn't seem to be any stakes. So yes, more information is always good. There is one point in your reasoning that is odd. If Knightley did indeed steal the key, I'd expect him to try to escape immediately. Was it really necessary for him to wait for Mr. Keys to help him escape?
He simply chose the method with the highest probability of success. After stealing the key, he concealed it on his personage, as he waited for the opportune moment. That is what I believe.
He concealed the key? Judge Courtney, such an oversight is unlike you. Knightley could not have concealed the key, and I can prove it. Knightley did not hide the key, and the proof is... Why could he not hide the key? He couldn't hide the key. It's kind of big. Oh, because there's a metal detector. If he hid the key, he would set off the metal detector, right?
Take that!
Judge Courtney, could you take a look at this? Oh, it's not that.
I'm afraid I can't accept that piece of evidence. I do not believe it has any relation to my testimony.
No. As I expected, she's nothing like Mr. DeBest. However, I won't back down so easily. There's gotta be something about that. We don't have the cake as evidence. I'm gonna look at the evidence again for a minute. Rope. Victim was tied up. He has a sweet scent, which is interesting, but that doesn't really relate currently. Let's just press some more. We'll come back to that. So Mr. Key's actions were intended to help Knightley escape from prison.
Yes, he's struck by the detention center's holding cells with the cage. This is Simon Key's own testimony. It can't be denied.
His visit to Knightley's cell ended up drawing suspicion, as one would imagine. Simon was just clumsy.
His clumsiness led him to bring the cage to the detention center. Or he brought the cage to help Mr. Knightley escape. Which explanation do you think is more natural?
Ugh.
I see you understand. Simon Keys carried the cage to the detention center. During this time, Mr. Knightley was able to use the stolen key to exit his cell.
Hold it!
Do you have proof Knightley stole the keys?
It is the only explanation as to why Mr. Knightley would have attacked the guard. We will know for certain the moment the guard regains consciousness.
Is that really true? Should I ask Judge Courtney for more information? Yes. This is similar. There's one point in your reasoning that is odd. Knightley didn't seem to steal the key. Yeah, so this is the same thing from before. So we can get to it a different way. As he waited for the opportune moment, that is what I believe. So, he concealed the key. Judge Courtney, such an oversight is unlike you. Knightley could not have concealed the key, and I can prove it. Knightley did not hide the key, and the proof is the keyring itself, because it's on a big crazy keyring. Could it be the floor? I kind of want to try the key itself. Although the floor is not a bad idea. I think maybe we go super simple, and maybe it's on a big giant ring. Where would you hide it, right? Like, it would be pretty easy to hide, wouldn't it? We're probably gonna get a penalty. Oh, it is the key. Okay. Okay. Haven't the guards informed you yet? They searched Knightley after he attacked the guard, and the key was nowhere to be found. Since the key's location is unknown, your logic doesn't hold.
That is not an issue. There is an explanation. Mr. Knightley had the key, it simply wasn't found. The reason being he concealed it inside the chessboard.
The chessboard? You mean the one that concealed the murder weapon? How many things was he hiding in that chessboard?
Come now, how do we know whether or not the murder weapon was really there?
What? Take some responsibility for your own words!
It was all Sebastian's idea after all. He sucks. We hate him.
So those who don't always agree on their reasoning.
In other words, once we put all the pieces together, Mr. Knightley concealed the key he stole from the guard inside the chessboard. When Simon Keys arrived, Mr. Knightley used the key to slip out of his cell. He entered the animal cage and was transported to the workroom. All thanks to his accomplice, Simon Keys. Mr. Knightley had planned to be carried outside after the show had ended. However, he was betrayed by his accomplice and murdered during the circus performance.
Objection!
Mr. Key's performance in the show, he would have had no opportunity to murder him during the circus performance.
No opportunity? Is that so? A story plays itself out on the stage, and such was the case with the animal show.
So she examined the content of the show.
The suspect plays the role of the villain who antagonizes the elephant heroine. In the final act, the villain is defeated by the heroine's love and all ends well. At that point, the suspect in the role of the villain is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit.
Blown away by the elephant? Was he hurt?
After being blown away, the suspect disappeared from the stage. The suspect was absent from the stage for about 15 minutes.
Are you saying the crime was committed during that time?
Even in such a short period of time, it would still be possible to carry out the murder. Don't you think so?
Objection!
No, maybe. I don't know. This is all speculative. So he committed the crime in 15 minutes and then returned to the stage. That may have been possible if the crime scene had been the prison. Judge Courtney, the actual crime took place in the detention center.
I'm afraid I cannot accept that camera footage alone as evidence.
Oh, we've got more than that. As for evidence, I have it.
Well then, please show us your evidence. Where is the evidence that shows the scene of the crime was the detention center?
This is where the floor comes in. Unless we have more stuff on it. No, I think that note we got was just added to the wiped floor. Bloodstains belong to Knightley.
Take that!
This is the floor?
Yeah, take a look at the floor, Judge. Rub your face in it.
Oh, goddess of law, I am unable to comprehend your mysterious ways.
This is what we discovered. The area here was tested positive for Mr. Knightley's blood.
This blood test, can it really be trusted? To begin with, how were you able to conduct a scientific investigation?
Objection!
Well, I used my prosecutor. I happen to have a subordinate. I can't vouch for his competence, but he is a man that I trust. You guys talking about me? You talking about my dog? Talking about Kay? This is Kay, right?
The detective? This concerns me. I can't think why one would disturb the order of law. The prosecutorial investigation committee's influence goes as far as the police department.
Gummy's in trouble! Forgive me, detective. I'm afraid something bad may come of this. You might find a pay cut from someone other than me. I'm not giving you any of mine, but I'm sorry.
I will accept the fact that blood was found at the detention center as evidence. However...
How ridiculous! This is unthinkable of you. You third-rate prosecutor.
Mr. Best, you're here? I'd completely forgotten about him.
There's a giant contradiction in your statement. According to the security tape, a dog killed Knightley in his cell. Then, after he left his cell, the blood on the floor was wiped away.
Ah!
Did the dog wipe away the bloodstains? As if that could happen. As if you could train a dog to do things. No, dogs are dumb animals.
That is possible of my Anubis, right, boy? That was one of the tricks I taught him while I was still in the outside world. He makes sure to hide any bloodstains he makes, so as not to leave behind any evidence. Why would you tell us that? I was saved. If only by chance. Shouldn't you have taught your dog to shake or something? Or like, not kill people? That's a good trick. That's my favorite trick. Anubis also performs that trick very well. But the shake, I taught him, he's a little different from others. He grabs your neck. First, he bites the victim's hand. Oh, stop! I don't want to hear anymore!
I see. I understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it appears you've gathered a good hand.
I'm glad you understand.
My argument isn't over yet.
Objection overruled.
Hey, now that's a little harsh.
Sebastian, would you allow me the privilege of explaining?
Sure, Justine. That's fine. And I'm not at all secretly very insulted and sad.
You finally realize the murder occurred in the detention center. Therefore, that assassin's pet dog.
My opinion has not changed. Unless I can understand how the dog was able to enter and leave the crime scene.
We got that. We have that.
I'm afraid I cannot accept your logic, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Hold it!
I've been waiting for you to say that. Now, let me show you. This evidence shows the route the dog used to go between the detention center and the prison. It's a little thing called a diggy hole in the ground.
Take that!
This photo!
It shows a secret tunnel hidden in the prison.
That's impossible! A secret tunnel!
And Dogen was not the name of the assassin who killed Kennedy, unless you don't believe Lee Harvey Oswald was the guy who did it. And secretly Dogen actually did it. In which case, that's funny. That's fine. This tunnel was dug by the escaped prisoner, Jailbird. We're just gonna call him Jailbird, because it's kind of weird to break up the word. It begins in his prison cell, and it's connected to a holding cell in the detention center. Namely, the victim's cell.
I'm shocked. How did this?
Dogen, you must have known of this, since you used this tunnel to commit murder. Hugs?
In the name of the goddess of the law, I hereby reject Prosecutor Edgeworth's claim.
Hold it!
Excuse me? What do you mean?
Evidence is everything. That remains true here, just as in the courtroom. Isn't that right? I have evidence here. Horace Knightley's autopsy report.
Autopsy report? Why didn't I get that? I wouldn't usually get that straight away.
Since when?
Why are you surprised?
This was delivered straight from the police a short while ago. It's not complete yet, more of a preliminary report. Here, the very word of the goddess of law is written. Cause of death, stab wound to the neck, died instantly. Murder weapon, sharp metal object. The victim was stabbed multiple times in the same spot with a sharp object. Although they were unable to determine the actual shape of the murder weapon, they have clear proof that it was a sharp metal object. So, do you still stand by your claim that a dog used a sharp object to kill the victim?
This can't be.
That is all. The court is adjourned.
Objection!
But wait! The tunnel contains the dog's footprints. Perhaps it may have been one of Anubis's walking courses. I can never tell what Anubis gets up to outside of my cell. Something feels unnatural about all this, but I have no evidence. Courtney Pie, you sure pulled a hidden gem at the very last moment. She waited for the perfect time to reveal the autopsy report. Have I let her outwit me again?
Appointed Attorney Shields. Here is the autopsy report from earlier. I apologize for the delay.
No, it's alright, thank you. Thanks for calling me in. I'm here too, I'm also doing a job. I gladly accept it.
Mr. Shields, I don't believe it's necessary to hold hands while exchanging documents. I advise you to stop and never touch me ever again, or I will touch you with the gavel of the law.
Huh? What? You're so pretty and I'm so lonely and,
Persist any longer and I shall call on the strength of the goddess of law.
I'll be careful.
Justine, well done. Just as I planned.
I only acted in accordance to your instructions.
The autopsy report came straight from the police. I can't refute it. However, if the murder weapon wasn't the dog, Dogen will be cleared of suspicion.
The merciful goddess of law so decrees. If you choose to yield now, your badge will not be taken.
What will you do, sir? She says that, but my answer remains the same. Judge Courtney, it is as I said before. I will see my job through. I will not yield to threats.
So even now, you still refuse to give up. If you want to keep your badge, this may be your last chance.
Right now, I am a defense attorney's assistant. What I protect is not my badge, but my client.
The goddess of law grows weary of your sentiment.
Now we're talking. Miles is starting to understand that a defense attorney never gives up. Actually, those were the words of the old man. My father? He really is in your blood. You're the spitting image of him right now. You said it yourself, you changed since you were tainted by Von Karma. It's only now that I've actually come to believe it. Mr. Shields. Well then, Miles, now's the time to put those skills to the test. Think beyond your limits. If the murder weapon was a sharp object, does that really negate your reasoning? The murder weapon was a sharp object. That's it! There were 5 chisels placed inside the special cell. Dogen is a former assassin. It's quite possible he could kill someone with just a chisel. In that case, the weapon that killed Horse Knightley was...
Hold it!
Is that... Well, I didn't even read that all. Evidence is everything. Didn't you say? The murder weapon was a sharp metal object. However, such a weapon has yet to be found.
What? So what are you trying to say?
The only decisive evidence is the actual murder weapon itself. And that was in plain sight this whole time. The real murder weapon is Dogen's chisel.
What did you say? Overruled!
Take responsibility for your own statements. The scene of the crime was Mr. Knightley's cell. You said so yourself.
If the evidence changes, then so will my logic. That too is courtroom procedure, is it not? If the chisel was used, that means the killer was human. However, the fact remains that we cannot deny this security photo.
Yeah, but what about that photo?
I'll give you the answer. This photo shows the moment the dog leapt at the victim, not necessarily killed him. Dogen's dog leapt at Knightley. However, the victim did not die at that time.
Didn't die?
He was only knocked unconscious. The dog didn't move a dead body, it moved the unconscious nightly. And the real killer was its owner. I see, the victim was moved. It would have been possible for Dogen to commit the murder. And use the murder weapon! Indeed, the killer is Sirhan Dogen. It can only be you.
I bet your teacher used to write on your report card, needs to pay more attention on what others say. Because you're still in school too, right?
I would think that describes you more.
We examined that room, every crook and granny, right, Justine? We wouldn't test until we scanned every crook.
Something like that. We examined all 4 of Mr. Dogen's chisels. And found no traces of blood.
4 chisels? 4 chisels? That's insufficient chisels. Thank you, Judge Courtney. Thanks to you, I am now certain.
Thanks to me? Whatever do you mean?
When I came here earlier, I saw 5 chisels. That's right, there were definitely 5 there before. So the one that disappeared was the smallest one, presumably for portable use. Dogen, where is that chisel? I'm not free to leave this place. I've no need of a portable chisel. Not free to leave? In that case, he mustn't have been free to hide the deadly chisel either. Dogen, you just dug your own grave.
It seems you know something. Would you care to show it?
Dogen couldn't leave, so the place he hid the chisel is... in his special cell? Okay.
Take that!
It would have to be. Dogen is a prisoner, so he can't leave his cell freely. Perhaps he could have sent his dog out to dispose of it. But he would not have been able to confirm the weapon's location. So what does that leave? Above all else, special metal tools are allowed in this cell. Even if one chisel were to appear here, no one would suspect a thing. You'd be a fool not to take advantage of that. I see, so of course it's always safest if you do something yourself.
But I examined everything. I didn't find any hiding places in his cell.
I am certain that the murder weapon is here. The reason you haven't found it is because it was cleverly hidden. You say I hid it. Where exactly? Think. Where could he have hidden it? I have to remember everything up to this point. There must be some clue. Laser brain time? Does this mean what I think it means? Let's get going, Mr. Edgeworth. Bow wow wow. Come to think of it, that dog hasn't barked at me once today. Previously, when I came to the special cell, it barked on Dogen's command. That's it. That's what's been out of place. The dog's not barking. What's in your mouth, boy? What you eatin'? There's just one place he could have hidden the murder weapon. Giving up already? How dull! How dull! I will present evidence. This piece of evidence shows where you concealed the murder weapon. It's a puppy dog! It barks at me a lot, but it's not now. It's actually the dog. It was always the dog. Hasn't your dog been awfully quiet today? Now that you mention it, he hasn't barked at all. Before it was... Sir Dogen, open that dog's mouth now. Anubis doesn't bark needlessly. I ordered him to do that before. In that case, order it to bark now.
Naturally, you should be able to if you have nothing to hide.
It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. As you can see, a dog of this size can easily conceal a small chisel in his...
What? A chisel? The dog really had one in its mouth?
I thought he was unusually quiet. Was he unable to follow the discussion?
Sebastian, could you call the forensics department urgently, please?
I got it.
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
Forensics.
A reaction. This chisel tests positive for blood. We use luminol. That's a thing that you put on. And I'm wearing the special glasses. Hi, I'm glad to be here. Am I a major character yet? Can I have a name? No? Alright.
What?
I guess that proves my theory. It wasn't just nonsense. Would this chisel be the murder weapon then? Maybe. You can me tell whose blood it is?
It reacted positively for blood. There is no doubt about that.
Could be the dog's blood if it like cut his mouth. Probably not though. That's a crazy gavel.
Mr. Sirhan Dogen, now that the murder weapon has been found, I must ask you for your testimony.
We know how your dog got to the detention center, and we've found the murder weapon. Do you still think you can talk your way out of this? Interesting.
This guy, even at a time like this, he's still smiling.
Well, Anubis, it seems everyone has become suspicious of you. It's quite troubling, but since it has come to this, we have no choice but to tell the truth. I did not kill anyone. I've long since grown weary of killing. What's this? His face looks completely composed.
It seems we need to listen to Mr. Dogen's explanation. Please promptly give your testimony.
Certainly. The blind man looks intensely, but like over there. First of all, I would like you to explain my motive. I do not know anyone by the name of, what was it? Natalie? I don't know a Natalie Portman. Her movies are great, I would never kill her. We share no connection. So I wouldn't think some motive for murder would just appear out of nowhere. Or are you insinuating my Anubis had a motive? He only bears his fangs at others on my command. I do not hunger for blood so much as to kill a man I do not even know. Ugh. Coming from an assassin, it sure is persuasive. An assassin who only kills acquaintances. I doubt that would be profitable. May kill strangers in my line of work, but I never make it personal. Is there evidence that shows a connection between Knightley and Dogen? Yes! We have a correspondent chess game. I should thoroughly review the evidence once more. We're gonna do some pressing to figure out the right place to slap it in his face, but we know there's a connection between the two. You definitely have met. First of all, I'd like you to explain my motive. You cannot kill a man without motive. Hardly what I expect an assassin to say. I don't spill blood needlessly. It may be required for my job, but not in my personal affairs. They're a little different. Isn't that right, Anubis? I do not know anyone by the name of Knightley. We share no connection. So this is the one that we flop him with. But let's do a little bit of pressing, and then we'll come back to it. You didn't know Knightley. It's not like you to say something like that. You overestimate me considerably. Did you have such a hard time arresting me in the past? We've already looked into it. You are the prison's supplier. Naturally, you would have known about the other prisoners. Hearing one thing and knowing 10 is just an ideal. It's true, I do hear things. However, that doesn't mean that I know everything. I've never heard of anyone named Knightley. It would be believable that, like, just because he's the supplier doesn't, I mean, you know, he wasn't even in the prison yet. But we know there's a connection of some other kind. So I wouldn't think the motive for murder would just appear out of nowhere.
Hold it!
You are an assassin. You do not require a motive to kill. Hey, Anubis, what do you think of this man? Is he an idiot, a fool, or possibly even a genius?
Objection!
You can drop the act. Answer the question. But first, consider this. Who am I? Before your eyes, you see the man you arrested yourself. The assassin, Sirhan Dogen. For those I have needlessly killed, I chant a prayer. Or are you insinuating my Anubis had a motive?
Hold it!
I was expecting that to go on a little further. The dog probably does not have a motive. However, it has been trained to kill. Anubis, how could this man say such a thing? You poor thing, they're there. The dog isn't you. He could have mistaken his target. In that case, wouldn't police dogs be equally untrustworthy? If you still mean to suspect Anubis, then you'll have to show me this evidence you're so fond of. I don't have that kind of evidence. He only bears his fangs at others at my command.
Hold it!
Then perhaps you ordered him to kill Knightley. Aren't we impatient? Haven't you forgotten the first thing I said? I don't know anyone called Knightley. Although you still insist I do, I'm afraid there's no evidence. Don't you think so too, Anubis? Good boy. Good boy. Did the dog kill him, or did Dogen? If Dogen did not have the motive to kill, then he could not have murdered Knightley. First, I should show proof of some connection between Dogen and Knightley. So, I do not know anyone by the name of Knightley. We share no connection. But we have this memo. The position of the pieces that he has gotten match the chessboard currently in your cell.
Objection!
Bunk. You lost your touch, Sirhan Dogen. If you had your dog clean up after you, you should have disposed of this, too. This is a record of a correspondence chess game found in the victim's cell. This record and the chessboard in your cell both clearly depict the same game. What? I've heard that the number of possible chess positions is around 10 to the 120th power. 10 times 10, 120 times 100, 1,000. That even a real number? Indeed, there's absolutely no way these two could have coincided by chance. Tell us your reason for killing Knightley, unless you intend to explain this as a coincidence. Well, don't they say that the truth is stranger than fiction? It is as you said, this is merely a coincidence. Your mother? But there's no way that could have happened. My correspondent's chess opponent was the victim in this incident? What a horrible coincidence. Aren't you shocked too, Anubis? The board. Oh, so you're saying that he was your correspondent, and it's just a coincidence that that's easier to be a coincidence. Okay. Anubis, my boy, the animal show or something. That was when everyone left. Anubis brought the body to my cell. He had already been stabbed in the neck with the murder weapon. I did not wish to be suspected, so I had Anubis carry the body to the workroom. After that, he pulled out the murder weapon and returned it to me. So you're saying the one who pulled the weapon out was Anubis? That's right. If I pulled out the murder weapon here, the blood would have been a problem.
Mr. Edgeworth, isn't this what that sword guy said?
A large black dog was biting into the neck of the victim. What did you say? It was truly hellish. It was a truly hellish scene. That dog killed him. I see. So that means Sword witnessed the moment the murder weapon was pulled out. Oh yes, that prisoner's testimony, it surprised me when I first heard it. It's not often that Anubis makes a blunder like that. Right, boy. Now, I believe that explains my actions. I did not kill him. All I did was remove the murder weapon. Now, will that be all? Anubis is getting tired.
Objection.
Well there, just a moment, Mr. Dogen. Mrs. Shields? Isn't there one thing you haven't explained? Why would you need to pull out the murder weapon in the first place? That's right. I understand why he'd move the body to draw suspicion away from him. But he didn't need to retrieve the murder weapon. I thought him just a fool, but how quickly his scent has changed.
Care to elaborate, Mr. Dogen?
It was because of this bell. The bell attached to the murder weapon, and the bell on my dog's neck. They share a distinctive shape, wouldn't you say? The assassin Sirhan Dogen's trademark.
An assassin's trademark? That like a thief's card? Because I got a few of those if you want to keep one.
The blind assassin Sirhan Dogen, he always appears the sound of a bell. The sound of a bell ringing in the dark of night is said to be the last thing his target hears. You remember well. It has been a while since you last saw my bells after all. When I prosecuted you in court, I confiscated the knife with the bell attached to it. Yes, my bells. There are only 2 in the world. Only 2? They're custom made, attached to my knife and Anubis's collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. Unless one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. When Anubis brought the body here, I heard a familiar sound. I thought my knife must have been embedded in the body. So imagine my confusion when I found out that it was merely a chisel with my bell attached.
Indeed, your knife is nothing like this chisel.
Either way, those bells are my trademark. Moreover, I'm the only one in this prison who uses chisels. With all this, I knew I would be falsely suspected. So I removed the murder weapon and hid it.
Hold it.
So you're claiming that you only moved the body?
Didn't I tell you? That chisel isn't mine. If you think I'm lying, go ahead and check for my fingerprints.
Sebastian! Me? But how do I check for? I don't know how. I'm a prosecutor. I don't know how to do fingerprints. I don't have any. Forensics! You call the other people, they do it! Chill out! Yes, ma'am! Yes, ma'am. Reaction! We have fingerprints. They're Knightley's, Justine.
What about Dogen's?
No, just Knightley's. And there's no evidence of prints being wiped either.
Only Knightley's fingerprints. It can't be.
Should we re-examine it?
See now, I never even touched the chisel. because I order Anubis to carry it in his mouth. In other words, the fingerprints belong to the chisel's original owner. Murder weapon's owner was the victim? This is perplexing. At any rate, I did not touch the murder weapon. In other words, the killer could not have been me. Isn't that right? Yeah. I have nothing to refute that. How could this... Is he really not the killer? Could Dogen's testimony actually be true? This can't be.
It seems this is sufficient enough not to warrant any further explanation. As it stands, you have not changed the state of this case. I believe this is more than enough reason for us to relieve you of your badge. To save any needless fuss, I'd suggest you hand over your badge now.
This is bad, sir. They sound serious. It's regrettable, but those prints are decisive evidence. I'll have to rethink my logic from step one. But there are still many unexplained things. Why would Mr. Knightley be carrying a chisel? It could be used for many things. Perhaps even the prison escapes. Well, then, how did he carry it into the prison? I mean, the prisoners aren't even allowed cutlery. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? Even if your reasoning is off at first, you shouldn't let that confuse you. The most important thing is to arrive at the truth. Isn't that right? It doesn't matter how you get there. The end result is to save Simon. We'll do everything we can for his sake. Well said, Kay. Nice one, Kay. I really want to scout you for the law firm now. Remember when Uncle Ray said a defense attorney never gives up? Miles, do you understand the true meaning behind those words? The true meaning of those words? Defense attorneys carry the fate of their client on their shoulder. You're the only person your client can rely on. Just like with Mr. Keys, we're the only ones who can save him now. We're linked by fate to our clients. That is why we must never give up. There's no way Uncle Ray can go against the teachings of Gregory. So, what will you do? Currently, I'm a defense attorney's assistant. No, an assistant at my father's firm. I have made a commitment to this case. Therefore, if I don't save my client, I cannot say I've achieved it. I will abide by this. To save Simon Keys, no matter how many times my logic fails, I will always find another possibility. Okay, you're finally back. What in the search for that other possibility? To start with, do you think there was a way Mr. Knightley could have brought the chisel into the prison? The method Knightley used to bring the chisel into the prison was probably the chess set. I think it would have to be. There's a hidden space inside the chessboard.
Take that!
Normally, metal objects can't be brought into the detention center or the prison. They just be caught by the security gate. However, there is one way to avoid this, and that is if they're sent in a package to the detention center.
That gate is only used on people. In other words, packages sent to the detention center undergo a simpler check.
So they don't use a metal detector for that?
This never should have happened. It seems the guards were too careless.
Knowing this, Knightley asked Simon to send him a package, namely a chessboard containing the chisel.
Well, this has solved one of our problems. The fact that the chisel was not Mr. Dogen's, but Mr. Knightley's.
Okay. So that's checked off the list. Given this, one major issue remains. The security camera shows a dog attacking the victim. As long as that exists, I will maintain that Dogen is the killer. But Dogen never touched the murder weapon. I'm stumped.
We also desire a conclusion in this matter.